The Kol Ukok Lake trek was not what I was expecting in the slightest. Let me share with you the things I wish I had known before I started and what those blog posts leave out. Kol Ukok Lake trek day 1. We've been trying to hitchhike to the start of the trail with no luck, and it's about a 6.5 kilometer walk to the start of the trailhead, and then we have to do like 15 kilometers. Unfortunately, we've had no luck. One person stopped, but they were like going somewhere else, and everyone else has just driven past us. And we had one taxi driver offer us a very exorbitant fee to take us to the start of the trail. So it looks like we're gonna have to walk the extra 6.5 kilometers. But yeah, it is what it is. At least we tried. Okay, we made it to the trailhead. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a taxi or a hitchhike, so we walked an extra 6.6 kilometers, and now we're starting the hike, so it's like an hour and a half extra, so maybe we'll stop at the first yurt camp instead of the lake one. And now we're just walking along a gravel road, but apparently this is the route, so we'll see. As luck would have it, just shortly after this, we were picked up by a local man who offered to drive us. I normally wouldn't hop into a car with a stranger if I was alone, but I was with Christina, and hitchhiking is quite common in Kyrgyzstan. Although the views were nice, I would not call this a hiking trail at all. We got super lucky. A very kind Kyrgyz man named Nico picked us up right like near the trailhead, and he drove us more than halfway to the lake. We're so lucky. And then there's a part where his car just couldn't go up this hill, and he was like, oh, you'll have to walk from here. But to be honest, I thought he was going to the lake too, so I don't know if he just drove us out of the kindness of his heart, but we're so grateful because it is super hot outside. These roads are very dusty, and there's no shade, no trees, nothing. So super grateful that this man drove us for so long. He saved us at least 3 hours of walking, so it'll be much more manageable because my toe is still bruised from the last hike, and then it'll also be a lot more smooth sailing tomorrow because it's downhill, whereas today it's all uphill, and he saved us so much time. It's a little bit hard to see, but this river is like heart-shaped before it leads down this mountain here. We thought our time with Nico was over, but turns out he just had to drive over the hill, and then he was happy to take us the rest of the way. He only spoke Kyrgyz and Russian, and my Russian isn't that great, so communication was a small problem. As you can see, the beautiful hiking trail has now been replaced by this dirt road, and it's been recent, which is why it's not updated anywhere. We got so lucky today. Nico drove us all the way to the lake, so it's 12:30. We only had to hike for maybe 5-10 minutes, where he was like, oh, can you get out and hike because it was a steep hill, and his car couldn't make it up. But then he picked us up again and he drove us all the way to the lake. We're super grateful. So maybe we can just like hike to the lake, come back, stay at the yurt camp here, and then tomorrow it'll be a lot easier because we're just going downhill, and who knows, maybe we'll see him again tomorrow. So super grateful for today because the first yurt camp that we saw on the map didn't even exist. So had we gotten tired and wanted to stay there, that would have been a disaster because we would have showed up and there were no yurts. Clearly the universe was watching out for us because I would not have wanted to be stranded on that dirt road in the blistering sun. Once we arrived at the actual lake, that's when its true beauty shone through, and I understood why so many people were obsessed with this trek. Green pastures and the grazing animals is what I was expecting on the way to the lake itself. Although I imagine this is what it was like before the construction of the dirt road. We dropped off our belongings at the yurt and proceeded to trek around the lake. This is when our first hike of the day truly started, and it validated our morning struggles because I was really beginning to question whether it was worth it to make it to this lake. Although the lake was not the bright turquoise color as Alakul, Kol Ukok had its own unique beauty. It was a lot more calm and serene and really allowed you to slow down and enjoy the nature because you weren't doing any aggressive hiking. No steep descents or pits of mud. We made it to the lake! Yeah! We were able to negotiate at the yurt camp. We got it for 1,800 som. Good job, Christina. For dinner and breakfast and a night stay, they wanted to charge us 2,200. And then now we're just walking down. We didn't know there's a second lake, which we may or may not visit. And yeah, it is a beautiful day. This hike was a dream because it was low effort for a really high payoff. All you need is a ride to camp. I feel like we're in the Sound of Music. It's just us and these cows, the mountain, the lake. Literally no one else around. We met one local guy that asked us to take his picture, and that's it. It doesn't feel real. It's not busy at all. Kol Ukok Lake. In terms of accommodation, there are multiple yurt camps to choose from, and you can message them in advance to reserve or negotiate on the spot when you get there. I saw people bringing their own tents, and you can also sleep in your car or caravan if you drove one over. I personally prefer the yurts because you have a lighter load, you don't have to carry your own tent, and you get to enjoy the delicious meals as well. We are here for the cultural experience after all. It is possible to go to the yurt camps just for the meals, but you will pay a higher fee. For me, comfort and convenience is the most important. morning. Okay, we just had an incredible dinner. We're so full, can barely move. So we're just walking around, taking pictures of the sunset. It's so nice right now. We found a ride for tomorrow. Lovely French couple offered to drive us all the way back, so we had to do basically zero hiking for this hike. But I think it's worth it. I think it's really nice, and we're probably just gonna go to bed soon, and that's it. We were really blown away by the sheer beauty of Kol Ukok, just watching the horses graze, the sunset behind the mountains, and then of course how the sun reflected off the lake itself. It provided me with insight with different ways of life other than my own, one that's not riddled with technology and being addicted to a phone. I constantly need to remind myself to slow down and just live in the moment. We started off the next morning with a large breakfast and many cups of steaming hot tea. I particularly enjoyed this orange one, which I had many times in Kyrgyzstan. Looking back on my year of backpacking, some of my fondest memories are eating a meal in a yurt. There's something about the sense of community, the warmth from the fire, and sharing your stories over a hot cup of tea that create lasting memories. This is the outside view of the yurt that we had slept in for the night. It was very picturesque and honestly didn't look real. Here's a mini yurt tour. This one is pretty basic, but still beautiful. They closed the top because it was raining yesterday. There are 2 beds that we pushed together just to stay warm. There's this little fireplace thing, but they didn't light the fire for us last night. I guess because it's not winter, so it's not that cold. We just have our stuff here. This is the outside, just people sitting outside. I actually really like sleeping in the yurt. I think it's a fun cultural experience. Very interesting. Can't find these in Canada for sure. If you're in Kyrgyzstan or even Kazakhstan, Mongolia, I recommend trying to sleep in here. Also, the bathroom placement was 10 out of 10. We just finished breakfast. We had breakfast at 7 a.m. That is our yurt over there where we slept last night. Just the 2 of us. It's so amazing. We're surrounded by baby cows. I'm so full. We had such a big breakfast. We had eggs, bread. They even made some bread fresh right in front of us and baked it, which was really cool. And some fruits, lots of candies, cookies, crackers. And then we're just gonna go with the French couple that offered to drive us in their caravan back to Kochkot, so we don't have to hike today, which I'm really happy about. It's been super beautiful at Kol Ukok. I really loved it. I wouldn't really recommend hiking to get here because the scenery is not so nice and it's just a dirt road, but if you can get a ride here, I think it's really, really worth it. It's been one of my favorite places in Kyrgyzstan so far, so I recommend it. If you're on the fence about the Kol Ukok Trek, you have to do it. It requires a low amount of physical activity but has a very, very high reward. Bye bye, Kol Ukok. I'll miss you. That's our ride right there. You can see the path is an entire dirt road. Just too bad, which I think they excavated recently because there's bulldozers everywhere. So the entire trail, you're just walking on this kind of dirt road for over 6 hours and it's so dusty. It's too bad because I feel like it used to be really beautiful and now it's just like a dirt road. And it's not so nice to hike. I don't even think it's a hike, it's just a walk along the road, which is why I recommend you take a car. But it's just sad to see that it's all dusty now. I was reading blogs that you have to walk through rivers up to your knees. There are no rivers, there's no trees, there's no grass, it's just this dirt road. So something to think about before you head out on this trek. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed this Kol Ukok trek and I've inspired you to join in with me as well. Let me know if you have any questions and don't forget to subscribe.